Turn into another first down as the tackle is made at the Vikings' 13-yard line. Give him 12 yards on that one. It earns him a...
Finish this off with 6.
From the 13 now, they work on 1st and 10. Hands it off out of the gun. And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8, 2nd and 2.
That's a strong pickup right there on 1st down. And as this drive goes on, we're seeing an offensive line and running game imposing its will.
They'll bring a receiver in motion right. He's going to handle it on the touch pass. And he's maybe going to get this back to the 4, but that's about all. He got maybe a half yard at most, but officially they'll be left with a 3rd and 2. On 3rd and short, they'll try and pick it up through the air. And that is caught! Touchdown, Raiders! From 4 yards out, as his guys are able to extend their lead. Well, it was 3rd and 1. I was expecting run, so much for that. They pass it, they score it.
That had the feel of the head coach telling the offensive coordinator, you've got 4 downs here. We're going to go for it on 4th down unless there's a disaster on 3rd. Go ahead and take a shot if you want to. And he gratefully accepted the opportunity and did exactly that. If they didn't get it there, that had the feel that they would come back and try it on 4th down.
And a nice return sets him up pretty good here. Right, he's ready to go again on offense. As this offense comes back out here, Charles, they're trailing in this ball game. And they've been on the sideline for a while. They did score their last time out, but they just had to watch that long, sustained drive. So we'll see if they can shake the rust off.
Yeah, and that's always a question that you have when you have to come off the bench after having sat there for a long time. Are you ready to go? Are you loosened up? But even more so, are you mentally alert and ready to put your best product out there?
Here's 2nd and 10.
2nd and 10 at the 30-yard line.
There they'll keep leaning on the running game. Back to the ground. And he's brought down at the 34. Call it a gain of 4. The Vikings on 3rd down. Just 1 for 3 thus far. This will be 3rd and 6. Now back to throw. Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. And he will have a Vikings first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
Yeah, these are the types of plays they're going to need to hit on if they're going to get back into this game. It hasn't been the greatest of first halves, but this is a nice throw here on 3rd down, and they keep the drive going.
They'll look to throw here on 1st down. And his throw here is incomplete. Now it's 2nd and 10. They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. He's got his target. That's complete. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30. A good pickup there, 22.
That's really good play design right there, and it's one that comes down to the offensive line. It's a deep in route, but it's only going to work if that line gives you time in the pocket to wait for the route to develop. Mission accomplished there as they pick up the 1st down.
So here's a 1st and 10 now in Raider territory as they're down to the 29-yard line. Quick hitter here, it's complete. So he'll be stopped here for no gain, and it'll be 2nd down.
No gain on the play. Brings up 2nd and 10 at the 29-yard line.
They'll look to throw again. He finds his man, complete. It's Phillips. And he gets it all the way down inside the 10 and mark him at the 5. Call that a very strong gain of 24. One back in the backfield, he'll get the carry. And he will take this one into the end zone for a Viking touchdown. A great play there with his 4th rushing touchdown on the year. And the Vikings are back within a score. So, partner, it was a passing game that drove them down the field, but when they get close, they trust that man in the backfield, and he took him home.
And they trust their offensive line as well, because so many of these units, they specialize in either pass protection or run blocking. This group shows its versatility and gets both done on this drive.
Extra point splits the uprights, and it leads down to a field goal at 17-14. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And able to get this across the 20, but not much further as he's dropped at the 23-yard line. This offense headed back out, captained, of course, by their quarterback. And as you see on the graphic, he's right up there with the best in the league when it comes to throwing touchdowns. Currently 2nd in the NFL at this point in the season. They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. And that's going to be incomplete. Too tough to hold on to that one. It's 2nd down. On play action, they'll throw. Pressure coming from the Vikings, and they get there and bring it down. They'll wind up losing a full 9 yards here on the sack. Now it's 3rd down.
So this has been a lot like a tennis match, hasn't it? Back and forth. Both of these offenses having their way so far. So maybe the question isn't who's going to score the most points in this game. Maybe it's who's going to get some stops.
Yeah, absolutely. And that sack, finally a first step in the right direction for a stop. 2 minutes remaining in this first half of football. 3rd and 19. They'll try and run this one right up the gut. And he'll take this up only to about his 18-yard line. The Vikings going to signal for the first of their timeouts. So as they talk it over, we step aside. And only punted twice in the win last week as he gets this one away. This is Harris. It's a 47-yard punt, return of 6. And the Vikings will take over here, 1st and 10.
Minnesota's offense takes over possession. A long drive last time out for this offense, Charles. If you remember, they started basically in the shadows of their own end zone, marched it down the field, and a lot of that was through the passing game.
And, partner, as a former defensive back, I'm having almost a physical reaction watching what's happening right now, but let's give credit where it's due because they've done an excellent job moving the ball through the air. Secondary getting picked apart pass by pass. Obviously, they need to make some adjustments there on the back end.
And because offensively, we know that they're not going to be shy about throwing that football.
19 yards there on the catch and run.
But they certainly made a point of getting him involved in the passing game here in the first half. They must have seen something in the scouting that said, hey, we can capitalize on him getting the ball possibly in the open field. And I think in the second half, that may loosen up the defense a little bit to get the running game going back inside.
On 1st down, he'll drop to throw.
Phillips has it running the out route.
And the result here, a pickup of 8. Leaves him with 2 to go on 2nd down.
Now a 2nd and 2.
Again, he'll drop to throw. He'll try and set up the screen. It's complete. Now the Vikings will use the second of their timeouts as they stop it with 28 seconds to go in the first half of play. They'll look to throw now on 1st down. Got his man complete over the middle. That's Phillips. And unless this is a quick incompletion, this is likely the last play here of this first half. And with just 4 seconds left in this first half, a timeout call. So with 4 seconds to go in the half, here's the field goal unit onto the field. From the right hash, this from 33. And his kick is indeed good, and that will tie things at 17 all. So they're able to make things level just before half and also leave very, very little time on the clock.
And I love the way that you phrased that. Brought a little soccer into it, and that's really apropos considering they just kicked a field goal to tie things up.
And not wanting to risk anything here late in the half, he'll just...
This offense ready to start this next drive.
And from this spot in the field...
Oh, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted. He may go.
And he will take this one home. It's a touchdown.
Well, Charles, you can just see the frustration on the sideline. Safe to say that's not how they expected this series to go. The ball only went one way, and it was backward into their own end zone, courtesy of the pick 6.
And, Brandon, how often do we hear offenses tell us before a game they want to end every series with a kick, right? A punt, a PAT, or a field goal. In case of a defense, they wanted to end with a punt or a takeaway. And we saw the takeaway right there, and it turned out to be a takeaway that turned into 6 points.
Point after, right down the middle. And that will take us to the end of the first half of play. So we've reached halftime here in Minnesota with the Vikings on top. As we send you down to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman has our EA Sports halftime report. Coach.
All right, Brandon, we'll get back to you, too, in a bit. For now, plenty of early game action around the NFL to get you caught up on, so let's get to it. We saw a couple of high-octane offenses getting it done in the first half. Both teams had no problems moving the football. And you'd have to think, the team whose defense shows up in the second half is going to be the one who walks out of here with a victory.
And they'll get him down inside the 30 at the 27. The offense for Las Vegas about set to begin the drive. This offense, Charles, had a strong first half throwing the football, at least in terms of yardage, but that hasn't translated so far on the scoreboard as they begin the third quarter here, trailing and looking for a little momentum.
Yeah, you're right about that because, let's face it, in the first half, most of their focus was in the passing game. And to their credit, resulted in a healthy amount of yardage. So I would think that at halftime, they're going to anticipate that defense loosening up a little bit to try to cover the passing lanes. They've got to get the running game going, and there should be some gaps to run through now.
How to approach this. Third down and 16 yards to go. Back to throw. Able to find the open man. That's complete. And he is going to have the Raiders first down as they're able to get the third down conversion.
That's a play that will likely be forgotten when you talk about big moments in this game. But plays like this are critical to keep drives going. And if points result, we'll call this play significant.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. Now they'll throw here out of the gun. He rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. And the return across midfield into the 46-yard line. Tough one there. First drive of the third quarter, throw an interception, and now a chance that they could be in even a bigger hole if they can convert this into points.
Yeah, but how good do you feel if you're that defensive coordinator right now? Because you just know that the head coach looked at him and said, turn him loose, big man. And he'd be able to take a few extra chances playing with this type of a lead, and boy, it paid off.
So here are the Vikings to take over. They were winners a week ago over the Bears, and they lead things here as well as they start this drive with a 1st and 10. They'll try and start this drive in the air. And that went too far in front. He couldn't reel it in. It's incomplete.
That incompletion certainly slows things down a little bit and brings up a very important call for 2nd and long. What do? Run and try and get some yardage and make it 3rd and manageable? Or challenge the coverage again, hoping for a bigger gain?
Over the middle into traffic, and that's complete. They do get a couple, but they'll be left staring at a 3rd and 8 coming up. Back to throw here. And the throw there going to be incomplete.
Position is facing 4th down.
The Vikings send out their punter as he'll come on to kick this one away. And this will be out of bounds. Now it's a question of where they'll mark it. And they'll say it crosses at the 11-yard line. Las Vegas' offense back out there ready to go. The Raider offense set to get this drive started. And they've sort of lost their way, partner. How do they recalibrate and get this proverbial train back on track?
Well, this is where leadership really comes into play. How's the head coach handling it? The offensive coordinator? Sometimes they just make a joke. All right, guys, had your fun? All right.
Throw it out the window.
Yeah, let's get back on track here. And sometimes that'll work just fine.
I guess it's time now to lean on that leadership. 2nd and 13. And that one off the mark behind him. Incomplete. And Charles, got to like what this defense has been able to do these last couple of plays.
Yeah, they get the sack on 1st down, then they force the incomplete pass. Now they're just a play away from getting the football right back, but it's a big play. They've got to hold up.
And not enough on the throw that time as that one is incomplete.
And those two just haven't been in sync thus far. They've done a nice job against him, but still, with his talent, you would expect him to have more completions to him in this game.
On 4th down, the punt team is on as this is sent away. 51 yards on the punt there. And it will be Vikings ball, 1st and 10. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And our game's hit a little bit of a lull here, a little bit of a snag. Punts on back-to-back drives.
And old-school coaches don't necessarily mind that. Didn't turn it over, right? Didn't create a big play for the other team. Right now what you're looking for is can you gain an advantage in field position? And that's what both teams are seeking right now.
Yeah, they'll be seeking to gain that advantage here on this drive. 2nd and 6.
toward the center of the field, but it's incomplete.
His back-bendable safety valve all game, so he went back to him when his first read was covered. Just unable to connect, so the play results in no gain.
They call his number again. It's his 6th catch and a first down.
Well, a lot of times when you get a manageable third down situation like this, you have to think about your tight end.
Back 8 yards that time on second down.
Now, how about that? Defensive coordinator perfectly in sync, dials up a blitz, and the man in the middle, he's the one who gets home.
Big Mike.
Big Mike.
In motion right, one of the tight ends. Off the play fake, he'll look to throw. And pressure coming, and they got him once again. It'll be a loss of 8 on the sack, and it's going to lead him to 4th down.
We've watched this a long time, and I still don't believe we get it. 3rd and long, why are you calling play action?
Yeah, because they're not going to bite defensively, right?
No, not at all. I did have a coach explain to me years ago that for some teams, that's how they have to deal with pass protection and their line blocking, but to me it seems silly.
Yeah, well, they're silly, and it leads to a play action sack. The Vikings send out their punter as he'll punt it away for the 4th time today. And no return here. Where will they spot it? They say just outside the 20-yard line. The Las Vegas offense ready to start this next drive. These guys definitely hoping for a better showing than their last appearance. They couldn't really even move the football much beyond the shadows of their own goalpost, Charles. We'll see if they can get a better, more sustained drive going here.
Yeah, and every team that we ever talk to says the exact same thing. When you start a drive from that deep in your own territory, the goal is a minimum of at least 2 first downs, because even if you have to punt then, you change the field position, right? You flip the field a little bit. They didn't get that done. This time they want to string together a nice drive and help themselves out.
3rd down and 6. They'll look to throw. And he gets this one just shy of the 40, down at the 39. Good coverage downfield led to him taking off, picking up the first down on a 13-yard run.
It was starting to become a game for him to forget with the interceptions, but that's a step in the right direction. Not only did he choose to run it instead, but he saw the field well and made a nice pickup to get a new set of downs.
Back to throw now on first down. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. 2nd and right at a yard. Now they'll switch it up here and look to throw. And he's got his man in stride, complete. And this is going to turn into another first down as the tackle is made at the Vikings 37. It's a pickup of 15 and a fresh set of downs. From Viking territory now, they'll come up 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line. And he'll maneuver his way forward for about 4. 2nd and 6.
And that was a quality play to start a new set of downs. That was simply an offensive line winning the battle up front and winning in a big way and giving their guy in the backfield a nice lane to hit.
They'll keep it on the ground. Dent. And not much running room. Down to the 32.
Just not a whole lot of room to operate there on that carry.
No, not at all. They did a really nice job staying in their proper places and not allowing any lanes to open up.
And a quick throw here, that's complete. And this is going to turn into another first down as the tackle is made at the Vikings 19. 14 yards is the pickup there at a Raider first.
I don't care how many times we see it. I still get a kick out of watching quarterbacks and receivers do the pass tree in pregame warm-up. But I always remember that when we go to practices, we see that after practices as well. They really tune it up, don't they?
They tune it up. They know why they do it for these situations. First down.
And they build that trust, and that's why they're able to find him in this type of a situation.
And they'll work this down to the 15 for a pickup of 4. And as they come to the line, they will not be able to get off another play as time has run out on this third quarter. This is the National Football League on EA Sports. And we return, welcoming you back to Minneapolis. It's Raider football here, but they're on the short side of the scoreboard right now as we begin the fourth. Looking to throw. And he will find his man on the end route. Complete. And that's good for a gain of 6. And that will bring up 3rd and 1.
So they just need 1 yard here to pick up the first down.
They'll look to throw for it on 3rd and 1.
And the Raiders are going to have 1st and goal as they try to finish off this drive with 6 points. Following the play, staff is going to come out here and take a look, and we will take a short break.
And the Raiders are in for 6. Touchdown. Taking it in from 2 yards out.
And the Raiders are an extra point away from tying this game here in the fourth. And we are set up for a fantastic finish now. A fourth-quarter touchdown here. We're an extra point away from a tie football game.
And I know they're thinking about possibly going for 2, but I'd go ahead and kick this one and just get it back to level.
Don't forget the extra point. It's up and good. And an important one that is, as we are all tied now early in this fourth quarter.
Now this one setting up for a great finish. All tied in the fourth as the kick's away. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line.
And now out comes Minnesota.
Well, they just gave up the score to tie it. That's the bad news. The good news, plenty of time in this fourth quarter to try to grab that lead back.
They'll come out throwing here on 1st down. They're unable to connect, but a late flag comes in. And the contact may have come too early.
So pass interference, the call there. Always, obviously, Charles, such a subjective call. You agree with the penalty?
Well, from where we're standing right now, I think the officials are tightening things up here.
And this is going to be intercepted. And he'll take it across midfield to the 46-yard line.
Well, we say it often, Charles, but not all interceptions are created equally, and that is a big one here in a tie ball game in the fourth quarter.
And, Brandon, when games are this close, it usually comes down to the team making the fewest mistakes, and that was one of our mantras back at Tennessee. Coach Majors used to say all the time, the team making the fewest mistakes will win. You've got to cut those down to give yourself an opportunity.
Now the Vegas offense heading back out there. And the question, can they turn that interception into points? A tie game for the moment in the fourth quarter.
Now a play fake here on 1st down. And he can't find anywhere to go with it. And he goes down.
Taken down for the 5th time this game. Multiple defenders there to get him.
Well, this has turned into an absolute week to forget for this quarterback. Multiple sacks. Pair that with multiple turnovers. As far as he's concerned, if he ever sees this defense again, it'll be way too soon.
They get just a yard back there, and now they'll be looking at a tough 3rd and 15.
This is what happens sometimes when you abandon the running game. It's hard to get back to it because once guys get out of that mentality of firing out and hitting people, hard to get them started again occasionally.
And he knocks the ball away and throws incomplete.
The defense honest with a guy with that type of speed, you do so. Send him deep, try to throw some air under it, and hope you connect downfield on that play.
Take over. Excellent job by their defense to force the punt and provide them with this opportunity, all tied in the fourth quarter.
And he'll find a little space. He gets us up near the 10. 5 yards is the tally on first down. That brings up 2nd and 5. They'll send the tight end in motion left. A play-action fake. They'll look to throw.
That ball nearly intercepted. The rookie had his hands on it but couldn't pull it in.
The offense on 3rd down, they're at 50%, 4 for 8. This will be 3rd and 5. He'll drop to throw.
And that one to the right side and incomplete.
And a smart play there. He's probably saying, I wish I would have done that on the last drive instead of throwing the interception.
The Vikings send out their punter as he's on for the 5th time here today. Taking on the midfield logo. That'll go as a 39-yard punt, give him 9 on the return. And this offense, they're going to have excellent field position. They take over with a 1st and 10 on the short side of the field. On 1st down, they'll go to the ground attack.
And a good job of finding the open space to run as he's down close to the 30 here.
10 yards there to start the drive, and just enough by about the length of the football for a 1st down. They'll drop to throw. That's going to go as a loss of 7, and it'll set them back for 2nd down. He'll look to throw.
Short throw caught by Bowers.
That'll give him 3rd and 8 now.
Let's not quibble about the gain there on 2nd down. That was a positive play because that was a take-what-you-can-get situation. Got out to the tight end. Now it gives him much better opportunity to convert on 3rd down.
Yellow line as they get him to the ground at about the 23. They'll get 6 there on the run, but it brings up 4th down. Temptation there certainly to go for this, but I think you have to kick it, right?
The temptation coming from the fantasy owners, right? I mean, there are some that are going to want to kick it because they may have that kicker, but overall, get more yardage, maybe a chance for a touchdown. But no, absolutely not. Run that field goal kicker out there. Kick it. You got to take the chance to take the lead right now. You don't want to put it back on your defense.
So the drive here ends with a field goal. It does give them the lead, but this one's still certainly a long ways from over.
It definitely puts a lot of pressure on your defense to hold the lead, right? They're happy to have it and happy to be out there trying to do so. But I know as a former player, in the back of their mind, they're thinking, why don't you score the touchdown and seal this thing?
And out a little across the 25 to the 27.
They'll look to throw here on 1st down. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up 2nd down.
It's 2nd down and 10.
They're going to look to throw. And this time he's got the hook up. It's complete. They get 6. That'll leave them with 3rd and 4.
The gain is 6. Makes it 3rd and 4.
They'll set up a throw.
Work in the middle of the field, and he's got him incomplete. And he will have the Vikings 1st down. They needed 4. He doubled that. He wound up getting 8.
And Brandon, from our time in college football, where receivers weren't running the traditional NFL route tree, one thing they did learn, find open areas, find soft spots, and set up and catch the ball. And I think we just saw that there.
Yeah, we saw that indeed, picking up the 1st. They'll look to throw again. They've got his man complete. And he's going to get this down to the 35-yard line. That one goes for 24 yards.
And here we are in the 4th quarter, partner, and watch them drive for what would be a go-ahead touchdown. And you and I both know this is where you need a quarterback who can keep his cool back there, not just for himself, but to keep the rest of the team relaxed too.
And a dangerous throw there, incomplete. He threw that into coverage. It was nearly intercepted. 2nd and 10.
They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. This will be a gain of about 8 to the 27-yard line.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he get a good head of steam going.
And he will have a Vikings first down as this defense unable to hold. It's a 7-yard gain there on 3rd and 2.
Again, he'll drop to throw. This will be caught inside the 10.
And the Vikings are going to be set up for the 1st and goal here as the tackle made at the 9.
3 points separating these two sides with 2 minutes left to go in the 4th.
Here we go, 1st and goal.
One back in the backfield, he'll get the carry. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage.
Now we get a stoppage because a member of the Raiders shaken up on that one. The medical staff will attend to him, and we will step aside.
Moved back to the 10. They'll try on 2nd and goal here. And they'll give him another shot here on the ground. And a short pickup there down to about the 9.
Well, they certainly had success throwing the ball in this drive, and not as much running it as we just saw once again on that last play. Stopped after a very short gain. But I wouldn't abandon the run totally, because otherwise, pass rushers just tee off on your quarterback. It makes it very, very difficult for him in that situation. It drives some people crazy to see those short throws underneath. They've got to find a way to gash the defense downfield.
And his kick is good. And that will tie this game here in the final minute of play. So a big kick to get this back to even. And now the worry is, did you leave too much time on the clock? There's another field goal the other way. That does you in.
You're exactly right. You didn't get into overtime yet. So now as a defense, you've got to think to yourself, you can't play prevent defense and just give up big chunks of yardage in front of you. But you also can't let anyone behind you. So you sit right on the line between the two. Play the best defense you can and not make it easy for them to move the ball downfield.
This is 1st and 10.
They'll start this drive out on the ground. And he is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes down right there.
They'll come up now on 2nd down.
They'll look to throw here. Wide open receiver complete. So now with 6 seconds remaining, we get a timeout on the field. And now it all rests on the right foot of their kicker. This from Tom Dempsey range here. The Vikings going to signal for the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. So on is their kicker, and it's down to this. This from long, very long range. And the kick is good. He needed a little help there from the crossbar, but the carom goes his way.
Well, I don't know if you ever go into a game expecting to attempt a kick of 62 yards. Charles, not only attempt it, but make it one of the longest kicks that we've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm not sure you ever go into a game expecting to kick one of this distance, but all the better kickers, they do dream of it, and they show what they can do in practice and convince their coaches to give them a chance. That one's...
And the Raiders have got him.
And a fun, close ball game comes to an end. On that last play, Charles, they were on the wrong side of midfield. They needed something near a miracle, and they couldn't get it done.
Yeah, the effort, that was good. Very good, in fact. They were just a little too far out to get a decent look at the end zone for that last opportunity. Couldn't get it done, but a nice game overall.
So for Las Vegas,
it's an important win for their playoff hopes as they move to 8-4. And they'll have another road date next week with the Miami Dolphins. Meanwhile, for Minnesota, the playoffs look to be out of reach now as they drop to 4-8. And they'll get the extra week to think about this one as they return to action in 2 weeks' time. So for our entire crew, alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.